Hi, this is Mr. Ward, and this is Algebra, exit ticket 33.2, video key. So what are the x-intercepts of x squared plus 17x plus 60? So to figure that out, we first need to factor that. And then we need to replace y with 0, because when y is 0, you're on the x-axis. So I'm going to take my little x thingy. I'm going to say, okay, I need a 60 times 1, which would be just 60. That's my product. And then down here, I need a 17. So what are two factors of 60 that add up to 17? So let's think about that. There's 12 and 5. So 12 and 5 will do the job. And so that means, and since this is a 1 here, we can just say x plus 12 and x plus 5. So those are our factors. And if those are our factors, then our x-intercepts are negative 12 and negative 5, because negative 12 plus 12 would make a 0, because this whole thing has to equal 0 for the x values to be the x-intercepts. Okay, so negative 12 would make a 0, and negative 5 would make a 0, would make an x-intercept. So the x-intercepts are going to be a negative 12, 0, and negative 5, 0. And the reason for that is that when we factor this, we say x plus 12 times x plus 5 equals 0, because we change y into a 0, and then x could be negative 12, because negative 12 here doesn't matter that there's a negative 12 here. This is just 0. That's a big fat 0. And then if I had negative 5 instead, negative 5 here for x, and negative 5 here for x, it does not matter that there's a negative 5 here, because negative 5 plus 5 is just a big 0, and so the thing will equal 0. So my x-intercepts are negative 12 and negative 5. All right, what about this? For this one, the y-intercept. Now, y-intercept x equals 0. So if x is 0, then we're just gonna have a 0 here and 17 times 0 here. So I've got 0 squared plus 17 times 0 plus 60. All that's going to be left standing is 60. So copy pasta that, put that in here. So we're going to say x is 0 and x is 0. And so the whole thing is just going to be 60. So my y-intercept is 0, because x is 0, comma 60. Which one of these would be the simplified version of the square root of 50? So we want to take the square root of 50. But 50 is 25 times 2. And so we can make that the square root of those, which then becomes the square root of 25 times the square root of 2. And we can get the square root of 5. That's 5, and then square root of 2. But we have to always remember that it's plus 5 root 2 and negative 5 root 2. That means plus or minus. So my answer is plus or minus 5 square root of 2. Okay. Finally, we want to factor this. This is a difference of squares. So there's no middle term. So there's a 0x there. So you need two factors of negative 36 that add up to 0. And those factors would be 6 and negative 6. Our function gets factored as this, x minus 6 times x plus 6. And those are the factors of this equation. So equals y. This is a difference of squares, so notice it's the same two numbers subtracted and added, and we multiply them, and that's going to get us x times x will be x squared, and it'll get us a negative 36, or the negative 6 times 6, and you're going to cancel out the middle term. Negative 6 times x and positive 6 times x are negative 6 and positive x. All right, that's a good place to stop. I hope that was helpful.